breaking the American record, I can't even tell you how many times I thought like, this is not going to go well. Like, I don't know if I can make it. Like, I should walk off now. There's no, like, there was still that like negative thought of this is really hard. And one of my pacers there, Cal, I was just like, I don't know. I'm really struggling. And he's like, this is what it feels like.
Oh, this is what it should.
This is what it like. You are trying to do something no American woman has ever done before. Like, this is what it feels like. And that line has stuck with me through just hard things. Like everyone in life goes through hard things on totally different scales. But it's like going through it. It's like, okay, you know what? This is what it feels like. But I can work through this and I can get to the other side.
We live in a complex and ever-changing world, a place that is maybe harder than ever to successfully navigate. The answer is surely to be brave, but it's also to seek and be open to guidance. Mentors are the one consistent through line in the lives of all accomplished people, myself included. So welcome to Mentor Buffet, a feast for those, like me, curious about who helped the most successful among us succeed. Sometimes you meet someone in the sport of running that you look up to. Sometimes you meet someone that you want to be friends with, and sometimes you meet someone who's both. When I met Keira D'Amato, I felt both. Before we recorded this episode together, we got to go on a run in my home trails, and I started to learn what you're going to learn today, which is that she's had a really unusual path. And it's really led by giving herself a chance to keep having chances and to keep expanding her mindset and to keep being as kind to herself as she is hard on herself. Keira shares today about mentors of hers, including coaches and even mentors that didn't realize they were mentoring her in a moment. Someone that said something that stuck with her and allowed her to lean in and give herself a chance at this dream that she's now chasing full on and at the highest level. I'm so excited for you to learn from Keira what I learned and also to just feel her energy, because even just to be in space with her is to learn from her. Here's my conversation with Keira D'Amato.
One of my first races, like in the pro women's field, I was doing Peachtree, which is a 10K race in Atlanta. And like I was intimidated and felt like an imposter to even be like part of like the women's elite field. And a few days before the race, like they announced that there was some women that were going for the fastest 10K time on US soil. And I just started panicking because like I wasn't there. I didn't know how to race it. And I don't want to like dramatize this, but I had a panic attack. Like, I don't know how to race that. Like, I can't do that. Like, how am I going to show up and be in a race with women that are trying to do that? How do I respond to that? So I called my coach and he was like, what's wrong? Like, he could just hear it in my voice. And I appreciate that we had a relationship that I could show up exactly as me and what I was feeling. And he could like help me through those feelings. So I was never afraid to try to put on like a show or put on a front. But I called him and I was like, I just found out these women are trying to run really fast and I don't know how to race that and I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, are you trying to run that time this weekend? And I was like, no, like nowhere close. He's like, then why are you worried about that? And I was like, well, what do I do? They're going to go out at this pace. And then he's like, well, what do you think you can run in this race? And I was like, I think I can run like 5:20s per mile. He's like, okay, well then run your race, like run 5:20s per mile. And I was like, yeah, but what if like they're like so far ahead of me? He's like, they might be, or they might go out slow and be behind you, but like just focus on yourself. And I think that was such an important lesson for me to learn, like in this comeback tour of my running, was that the race was about me and I was running for myself. I was racing against myself, and just showing up and doing the best I could that day was everything I had to give. And I think that freed me from the things that were out of my control, like what other people were doing or whatever. So that was like, I think a really important lesson that I learned. Yeah. Round 2.
To be, and you're way more present in that sense, right? In your present.
Right.
And able to exist among other people's present,
right?
Which is what a marathon really is, right? It's a bunch of people showing up as they're wherever they are. And the chaos is in accepting that we're doing our own dance at a big school dance.
Well, and I think that also allows for more camaraderie and a lot of like more support, especially among the women, when I didn't feel like it was me versus them. When it's me versus me, like you all can help me reach my goal and we can all be the best versions of ourselves at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, rising tide like raises all ships. So I felt like that really helped me be able to be competitive like on the roads, but then like have a really like lightheartedness and friendships and kinships, I guess, off the races.
Do you feel like that's how you orient still today, where you are always kind of in your reality with yourself and relating to yourself in a community versus me versus her?
Yeah. Like I'm really proud of a lot of women and what they've accomplished. And this like second round of running, I raced the Manchester Road Race, like a pretty iconic race on Thanksgiving. Yep. And I was looking up the past times and I was like, okay, if I can run right around this time, that's the course record time, that would be incredible. And I broke the course record that day, but I was also beat by Winnie Colati that day. She ran almost a minute faster than me on this 5-mile course, which she just blazed it. And the rest of the day I was pissed that I lost. And again, that coach came in and was like, what? Like if I would have told you yesterday before the race that you were going to run a course record time, like hundreds and thousands of women have run, like elite women have run on this course and you ran the fastest time ever outside of the one person who beat you today. Like, would you have been happy with that? And I was like, yeah, I would have been thrilled. He's like, well, then why are you letting someone else's good day take away from your good day? And that was another really important lesson for me to learn because like all of a sudden someone else made me feel less than, even though I was really happy with my performance. And that was just another thing that I decided like consciously that day, this is the last time anyone else's good day is going to take anything away from me. Mm-hmm. So other people can have good days and I can have good days and I can be proud of them for their good day. But I think that just feeling sorry for myself that day, I was like, I don't want to feel this again. This is such a wasted emotion that isn't good. But then like 9 months after I broke the American record in the marathon, I was on the lead vehicle for NBC when Emily Sisson broke my record. And I was so proud of her. And I knew what it took for me to get to that point and work through that mentally and physically in a race and feeling connected to her that day for everything that she was able to go through. And so I was so like, I'm really happy that it was all positive emotions and just feeling really, I don't know, just, like really genuinely happy for her for hitting such a big goal. And I think like living that way for me is just, I'm a happier person. So.
Yeah, it's almost like you took the lesson from your coach of somebody else's good day doesn't take away from your good day.
Right.
And then you evolved it to somebody else's good day could also be your good day.
Right.
In the case of Emily breaking the record.
Right.
And then extending that to saying like the goal of your life is to be happy and this actually brings more happiness is such a like that is a very different way to look at performance in sport is to say like wait a minute, what's the point here? The point is actually to have a good life and to be happy. And if I can find or allow myself to feel happiness even when someone else is happy or especially when somebody else is happy, that is a true human experience that I want for myself.
Right. And I think it's an easier goal and expectation to strive for happiness and fun and joy than performance. Because you can have good days, you can have bad days. Like most of my races are subpar by default. You know, I'm racing into shape or I'm learning things along the way to get to like the ultimate goal. But like what is unnegotiable, like did I show up and do like, was I the best version of myself? Did I have a good time? And like, was this fun? And I think coming back into running the second time, those were my main goals. That is this fun? Am I having a good time? Like, is this making me a better version of myself? And that was so much easier to hit on a constant basis. And then the times will follow. Mm-hmm. So I think just structuring success and having different levels of success in different realms has really like just helped me take away the pressure from just the one outcome of time.
Mm-hmm. If someone is like listening and is like, look, I buy in. I want to have fun be the North Star and hope that performances follow and hope that there's like a buoyancy there. Mm-hmm. How do you make sure to have fun? Because I feel like you can honor trying your best.
Right.
Like there's an effort-based thing there. You can honor, like what were the other elements you said? We want to try our best. We want to show up and
just the best that you have that day, and
The
then
best you
have a
have that
good
day.
time. And
how do you have a good time?
So I think for me, coming back, so I ran in college in a little bit, and then I quit for almost 10 years. And then I came back with no expectations, no goals. And I was able to set things, like aim for things that really matter to me. And at first with running, it was like, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to feel good about myself, like mental and physical wellness was. And so I was picking goals that made me happy. So at first I was like, I don't know, I was nursing kids or one kid, I guess, but I was eating way too much ice cream. And so I was like, okay, what's a way that I can kind of tie? And I don't think, like, I'm going to preface this whole conversation with, I don't think you need to have to do physical activity for a reward, but that was fun for me. So I said, if I can run 10 miles that day, I'll get a root beer float at night. Because I was like, I needed to slow my roll on root beer floats. So then that was a fun challenge for me. So I was running 10 miles, and then I'd put the kids down and I'd get myself a root beer float. And that was really fun. And so this little challenge for myself. And then I started challenging myself for, like, how many miles can I run this week? Can I run 3 days in a row? So I set all of these goals that meant something to me, but didn't to anyone else. And I was having really fun, like in the grind, and like finding these little daily wins, I think were really, really fun for me. But it wasn't what anyone else was expecting to do. It wasn't training for, at first, even a big race. So I think if someone's starting out, like, how do I have fun? It's like, well, find small little goals that mean nothing to anyone else, but something to you.
That's so cool, because it's basically, I mean, the word authenticity is a very, my friends and I were talking about this on a run last night a little bit about, like, the word is like overwrought with like, it's been like commercialized. It's hard. I can't even say the word without feeling something, but it means, there's a meaning underneath the word authenticity. And what you're saying is, like, fun is something that is fun for you.
Right.
Fun is actually specific to one person, and you have to get in touch with, like, the little games you can play with yourself.
Yes.
And again, there's a theme here with you of this incremental, like, there's incremental goal setting, and also these, like, little incremental fun snacks for yourself, not literal snacks, but the doses of experience that feel actually fun to you.
Yeah.
If we're trying to share with people, like, how do you make sure you have fun? You have to first get in touch with what is fun for you.
Right. And it's very individualized. And I think you hit it on the head there, that it's super individual per person. And that's why you really have to be in touch with yourself to figure out, like, what excites you in that way.
Yeah. It's the opposite of performance too, because
100%.
those are objective. Sorry to cut you off, but, like, the performance goals are objective and someone could give them to you and everybody wants them, right? So the fun is the opposite.
Right. Yeah. And fun could be community. It could be going with friends. It could be, like, getting a new outfit and looking cute. So it's like, whatever excites you about getting out and getting moving, it could be like, starting a run and then deciding you want to just walk for an hour in the middle of it. That could be fun. The fact that you're in control of how you're going to structure it, I think. And I think there's a powerfulness too, to, I don't know, kind of doing it your way.
I think that there's a buoyancy in it. I guess I haven't been using the word fun as much as I've been using the word, like, luxury. And it's sort of the idea that, like, on a run, for me, like, letting myself walk up a hill, or getting the smoothie after, or, like, driving 10 minutes extra to go to my favorite trail, not just the one that's more convenient, feels like this, like, luxury that makes me feel like I'm not just barely surviving with my life or something. I don't know. I don't know if this is anything. I don't know if this is, like, a relevant. Okay. Well, because now I feel like what I'm saying is, like, you need to get your Hailey Bieber smoothie.
What I heard when you said that was, like, treat yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and you, like, you can own whatever that little part is, and you deserve it. And you should be prioritizing yourself and these goals and going the extra mile in whatever form it is.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's a good experience for yourself. Like, you deserve the luxury.
And I think that that's what separates pro runners and pro athletes from non-pro runners. Because I think that pro runners are expected to give themselves the luxury of, like, start your run at 10 a.m. because that is their job, or get the smoothie after, or do the warm-up routine. Like those little they can feel like luxuries to busy people, right? Yeah. But I think that it's not only performance enhancing because there's a benefit to it physically, but I think there's a mental luxury to knowing that there's a little bit more. It's almost like the spring in a pinball machine. It's like you give yourself more ability to release it farther when you do need to push hard. Right. If you give yourself more luxury when you don't need to push hard. Yes. I think that contrast gives us more jump when we need it. Yeah. It's adjacent to the fun thing because it can come from like a comfort place, but I think it could also come from what makes it more fun. Yeah. Right?
Well, and I think like in your pinball reference too, like it takes strength to pull that back, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not, I don't know. So to me, like building up the gears or the courage or whatever to pull it back, knowing that you're about to like, I don't know. I think that it's easier said than done, I think.
It's easier said than done because we're not likely to give ourselves the fun or the luxury. Right.
Well, and it's the first thing that gets cut in busy lives.
Yes.
Right? When you have like work and family and all these other expectations and just chaos in life, it's the first thing that I think we all cut because it's easier to cut it out of like your own luxury than it is to like everyone else. And I find like I have definitely a really big giving personality. Here's another like fun little story. So my college coach, Matt Centrowitz, his son, Matthew Centrowitz Jr. went on to win the gold medal in Rio. So his dad was my college coach. An incredible, he was a 2-time Olympian. He held the American record in the 5K, an incredible runner, and just has this larger than life personality. And he would bring me into his office, I don't know, maybe once a month. And he would ask me to shut the door and you're like, oh no. I'm either going to cry or I'm about to like get so pumped up. I'm going to like knock down this door and go like take down the world. But so he'd be like, Keira, come in my office. And all the time he would tell me like, you need to take off your Red Cross uniform. And for the reference, like I never worked for Red Cross. I didn't have any sort of like uniform. And I don't think I even understood then what he was telling me, but he was trying to teach me to be a little more selfish for myself. And I was so concerned with helping everyone else around me and helping the team and making sure I was being the best teammate or the best whatever for the world that I wasn't prioritizing myself. And that lesson, I don't think I even, like, I never understood what he was saying in college because I'm like, this is who I am. But now, like, as a mother and as like working full time and as like a pro athlete, I understand now that you have to like be able to prioritize yourself and take out that time. And I think it feels, especially for women, a little selfish. But I think rebranding that into like, it is okay to prioritize yourself and you're a better version of yourself and you can be better for your family, for your workplace when you do take those like small luxuries and just like, I don't know, work on yourself. So
what happens when you prioritize yourself?
I think
for you,
for me, I can be the best version of myself. And when I have prioritized myself and give myself what I need, I have more to give to those around me. And I have more patience. I have more to give because I feel like I am full myself. And then also just reinforcing like my worth. I don't know. And I think for women too, it's harder. And it took me watching men and like male athletes, how it's easier for them, I think, just naturally to take. And I've learned that like I need to be my own advocate and I need to learn how to take what I need for myself because no one else is going to give that to me. And I think that was like a really important, but I think that I can be the best version of myself when I do like prioritize myself.
Is it a feeling for you? Like, can you tell is it a feeling that you know when you feel it?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I've had to disconnect guilt from that. And I don't know why I've always like prioritizing myself comes with guilt. So I've had to work through this in many different stages of my life, but I feel like back to the word, like authentic, like when I am authentically living my life and putting things in my life that feel really true to myself, like the feeling for me is happiness. So it's like, I feel like when I'm truly happy, I am able to work on myself and be the best version of myself for other people.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now that you are prioritizing yourself? Would you say you're someone who does now, right?
Yes.
What does it specifically look like? Because I look up to you and I want to learn. I mean, I do want to know.
So I've learned like there's a certain flexibility too, but I have non-negotiables now. So like at first getting back into running, like dealing with a lot of guilt, it would be like, if I'm going to run tomorrow, like thinking about my day and structure my day, like if I'm going to run. And for me, that just the shift of when I'm going to run instead of if, changing to when. So it's a non-negotiable. I'm going to run tomorrow and I will make it work like with my family, or I'll have to hire a sitter or figure that out. But I think like making the things that matter to you unnegotiable is really important.
Changing from if to when.
Yeah, if to when. And it's so simple.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's actually another conversation I had with my coach, Scott Roscoe, is, you know, I was telling him like, I would like you to coach me, but I'm really busy. I have a lot going on. And he's like, you know, I understand you are a full person. And I really love that he coached me as an individual and a full person that wasn't just a runner. So he saw me as Keira and all the different pie pieces that made up Keira. But I was telling him, you know, there's some days that I'm just so busy that I just can't run. And he's like, well, it looks like you're going to have to get up earlier on those days. And it was so simple that I was trying to squeeze it out and write that off. And for him just to say, well, you just got to get up earlier to fit it in. So there was a couple mornings I'd get up at 4 a.m. to get on my treadmill to be, you know, done with my run before the kids had to get up. There were some days I did real estate for a while that I would be running right after home inspection or right in between a home inspection and radon inspection. So like I had to get really creative with when it would happen, but it wasn't if.
It was when.
It was when. Yeah. So I think that little shift. And then also like for me, a good practice, like when I'm going to bed at night, I fill up my next day like in order of my priorities. So first I have family. So I put my family in my life. And then it was work at the time. So then I put my work requirements. And then I put running before everything else. And I got resolved to, you know, there could be laundry in the dryer for 48 hours. Like, and that's okay. Like that is something that I can deal with and I'm going to be fine with, but I'm not going to be okay if I don't like take that little sliver of time, like to myself. So I think like that's how I started structuring it and just having like unnegotiables and just making sure like in my head, I knew it was unnegotiable.
Let's get into the kind of the turning point for you here and like what, you know, who and what inspired that and anything you've been reflecting on.
For me, thinking about like my running and how we talked about like it was all for fun and it was for mental and physical wellness and it was for everything but how fast I can go. And I called it my fun shield. So I used the fun shield for a while to protect me from any sort of failure. And I did that for probably a couple years when I was running. And then I did a marathon and I was 2 minutes off the Olympic trials qualifying time. And I had never qualified for the Olympic trials. And that blew my mind that I was even so close to that because like I had in my 20s, like it was just eat, sleep, run. Like running was all I cared about. It was my identity. It was everything. And now here I am in my 30s with very busy life. It's not one of my top even 3 priorities, I think, in my life. And I was closer to hitting that goal than I'd ever had before. But I was so scared that if I really went for it, then I would lose that fun shield. And I needed it so desperately in my life to have like a release and something for me and something that was exactly what it needed to be that day and not like goal driven. And I was up in the DC area showing houses to one of my friends, Jake, who was hosting a book tour that night from a man named Matt Fitzgerald. He's written a lot of books. He has like an 80/20 book. And so we showed him houses all day and he's like, will you come to this book tour with me? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we went and listened to him talk about the book. And then afterwards we went out to like a little restaurant in Arlington. And I ended up like just blurting it all out to this man that I didn't know very well. And I was just telling him like, I have all these dreams, I have these goals and it would be really cool to go for it. But I also like, I can't lose this as my fun thing. And I like rambled on for a really long time. And he was a very good listener. And just like flippantly at the end, he's like, why would you not go for it? And it was that like simple comment that realized like, that I was like, yeah, why would I not? It's funny now because I talked to him and we're like friends. And I'm like, thank you for that little, he doesn't even remember that conversation was how like how little it meant to him really. But it changed my perspective from like worrying about I don't know, the fun shield and worrying about all these other things. It's like, yeah, why would I not? Like, what is holding me back from going for it? And then I started thinking, well, is there a way to keep it fun and to really intentionally go for it and really work for it, not feel the pressure and not be afraid to fail? Like, is there a way to like go for it in the new Keira way that I'm having so fun with now? And that's like kind of like, I don't know, the little recipe I ended up coming up with to get back here. But it's strange having that one moment that just kind of changes the way you look at it.
And when you asked yourself that question, why would I not? Because I understand what happened, but like what came to your mind?
So I didn't really have any why nots.
Right. So you would know.
Right. I had nothing like in it. I wasn't afraid to fail because I had failed earlier in my 20s in the form of getting injured and quit and then sitting for 10 years with a woulda, coulda, shouldas and like wondering what if. So then, but I know what's on the flip side of running. Like I know what it looks like to go for a goal and not hit it. And I know how to pick myself up. And it's really not that bad.
Well, you and I talked about this on our beautiful trail run this morning, that I think there are two things, probably more than two things, but there are definitely two things that we have in common that I don't know that everybody in our shoes has experienced. And one is seeing yourself from a fitness standpoint get really out of shape and get really in shape again,
right? Which
I think happened to us at different intervals in our life. And funnily enough, I ran, like my peak was during your downtime.
Yeah.
Like you had this like 2006 range time. I was like in high school, and then I ran this like college time when you were taking your downtime, and then I have downtime and your peak.
I feel like we've tag team running here.
Yes, we have.
We need
We're
to get it at the
relay.
same time. We need to get on 2-on-2 in the wrestling mat instead of a tag team. Yeah.
Oh my God. Training with you would be, I would have to get in shape for that. It would be so fun. So we've seen ourselves with this fitness journey. And also we talked about the mystery of the body changing and that we've both also seen our bodies change like in both directions so drastically. And so when we get back to that question of why not, I think we also both had an awareness of what was on the other side and what the mystery was and how, quote, bad it could be was really just, it's worse when you don't know what something is.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to give a moment to that because I think what a lot of people are afraid of is the unknown.
Yeah.
And I think we've had these kind of labyrinthian lives that have brought, we have a lot of unknowns, but we also have had ranges of experiences, right?
Yes.
And that's a tool.
It is. I've broken the American record in both the marathon and the half marathon. And both mornings, I remember so vividly standing on the starting line and thinking, if I broke the American record today, that would be really cool. And if I don't, I'll be exactly where I am now, which is really cool too.
This or better.
Yeah.
Somebody said that to me and I was like, this is a great line.
If this is where I'm at when I like don't hit that goal, like I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Like look at me go. Like, so I think that is a really powerful tool that I've used. But then also like, I'm kind of jumping around with stories, but after I broke the American record in the marathon, and after I went through drug testing and signing champagne bottles and the press conference and like this and that, and I had a moment to myself, I like went into the bathroom and I took a shower, turned the heat on as hot as I could, and just sat in the shower and just cried, like sobbed, cried. And the thing that kept coming up for me in that moment was I was so proud I started this journey. It wasn't that I broke the American record. Like it wasn't like all those like trials and tribulations and little wins along the way. I was so proud of myself for going on the first run that time. Like the day that I tried to run 3 minutes and only made it 90 seconds. That was the thing. Like even more than the American record, it was that first run that I'm really proud of. Wow. And just the fact that I like had the courage to start and I had the courage to keep coming back. Like that is what I'm most proud of anything that I've done in running.
You're the most courageous when you know the least and when you're in the beginning. Like it takes the most courage.
Right.
And also in so many circumstances outside of running, you might make a commitment like that and have really, it might be way less linear than running and it might require other people's commitment or like all these things you can't control.
Right.
And the reality is like maybe the best lived life is the one where we saw ourselves commit to something regardless of the result.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing to ask of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the honoring ourselves the most is to commit to something without knowing.
Well, and that's like after I got injured and quit and I started this 10-year like break from running, like I woke up the next day, like not having to go for a run, not having ice, not having to go to PT, not having to cross train. Like I didn't have any requirements. And for like a second, it felt really free. And then like for the next like so many years, I just floundered without having a goal, without grinding towards something, without working towards something, without feeling committed, like you were just saying. And that's when I realized like coming back, like me in my happiness form is when I'm chasing something, when I'm working hard and I'm putting everything into a goal and not knowing if I'm going to hit it or not. But like going through the grind is what I realized make me really, really happy. So I feel like coming back, like I literally was chasing happiness. And for me, happiness is grinding it out, committing to something, trying to make myself, you know, just a little bit better, learning something new. Like for me, that's happiness. Kind of circling all back to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, and giving yourself the chance every day.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of giving yourself something,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
To commit to something else is to give yourself
right.
a chance.
Well, and then again, like telling yourself you're worth it. You know, I'm worth achieving for this goal. Like I may hit it, I may not, but it is worth it for me to go for it and see what I can do.
So Joni, I think, is a mentor we share. And she's wild. I love her.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
She is like me joining Nike. She was just immediately this like mother figure in my life that took me under her wing. And yeah, she's been like someone that I've asked. Like I've always felt very connected to her because she won the marathon in the Olympics in 1984, the year I was born. So for whatever reason, that just, it feels like that was such a crucial point for especially American women, but for women in sport, the first year the marathon was in the Olympics, the first year they allowed women to compete in the marathon, she won it. And so I've always just felt that connection. And it's like the biggest gift now being friends with her. And just, you know, I ask her stuff all the time.
What do you ask her?
So leading into the marathon trials, like until that race in 2024, I have lived like totally carefree with all my goals. Like I'll go for it and it'll happen or it won't. And I found myself training for that race, never wanting anything more. And I feel like I was losing that superhero power of being okay whether it happened or not. And by wanting it so bad, I was having a hard time like structuring it in my head, being able to like race risk-free and without the fear of failure. So I texted her and I was like, hey, Joni, like, I need your help. Like, how do you like prepare for something that I know I do best when I'm totally carefree, but I've never wanted anything more. And I just don't know how to handle it. And she was so thoughtful with her advice. She was like, you know, one, she's like, never let them see you struggle, you know? And then she was like, go watch Boys in the Boat. And she gave me a couple other recommendations. But she was like, you know, you just like, she encouraged me to harness like that superhero power that I had like the whole time. And to be just like, actually here, do you know what? I will read exactly what she said.
She wouldn't mind. I know. And she's one of those people that signs her notes, Joni. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's only what my dad does. Love Dad.
Yeah. So I was like, how do you deal with that? And she said, never be afraid to fail and never show your vulnerabilities. It's only when you are afraid of failure that you don't believe in yourself and fail to give an effort your best. I have no doubt that you are ready and will give it your best effort and never change what's worked for you in the past. And then she said, go watch Boys in the Boat on the big screen, sort of like me watching Chariots of Fire before the trials in 84. Yeah. So, but it's nice having like, to be secure enough in a relationship to show your vulnerabilities like that and have it met with like understanding and empathy and like, mentorship, like is incredible.
It's incredible. And she expects that people will be better than her.
Yeah.
And that's so important for sports to expect evolution instead of being offended by it.
Well, and I think she's mentoring people to be better than her too. So not only does she expect it, but she's there to help the next generations of runners like with what she knows and then like go for it. She's a really powerful woman.
She's really powerful. You know, she yelled at me in a very loving way after the Olympics. She was like, you barely looked like you were trying out there. Like it was like this, it was so like what I imagine like a mama lion does or something, where it's like, I'm really proud of you. And also like, you can keep going. It was like love from the most experienced place.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, she's going to be your champion, and she's going to be proud of whatever you do, but she also wants to see you do the best that you can. And I think that is really cool. And she's also a competitive person.
She's very competitive. I heard that Joni doesn't, she won't stop to tie her shoes sometimes on runs, but also that when she runs, she likes to like trace the very outermost edges of like a cul-de-sac, or just like creating, I think there's like a little bit of like competitive, but like gamifying and playing, that I think is like a very cool quality of hers.
Yeah.
I don't know where she stands on the GPS watch of like hitting the mile marker or not, because she came before the GPS era. So I'm like, how attuned is she to the beep? Yeah,
I'm not sure. But the fact that she is now 40 years after those Olympic trials, she's still finding a way to like, compete within herself and be part of the running world and to give back and to help others is, it's really cool.
Is there anything else you want to share about what you've learned from her?
Well, so one time we were in Santa Monica and we were having lunch out on this beautiful like rooftop of our hotel. And I was asking her just a little bit about, I don't want to say sexism in sport, but like, did she feel competitive with men? Like, was she always trying to beat the boys? Like, just kind of a conversation like this. And it was funny to me because I feel like my whole life, like in elementary school, I was trying to beat all the boys in the mile. Like, I've always felt this little, like, kind of really talked about today, like, stick it to the man a little bit. Like, I always felt like I was trying to prove that I belong. And I think in her heart, she just knows she does. And so she was like, I'm just one of the boys, like I just like, so it was interesting to learn. She didn't feel like she needed to prove that she belonged there. She had the confidence that she does.
Right.
And that was something I walked away that I'm like, that is such a better perspective.
It is.
Than trying to like always prove like I can beat the boys or I can do this. Just like, yeah, I'm one of them. I can do it. I can hang. Like she belongs there. Which that like has really like to this day, I still think about that a lot and just how different, like, I don't know. I need to harness more of the Joni in that.
Yeah, because it's almost like there's a wasted energy in trying to like refract light off something onto yourself instead of being like, no, I am this. I am it already.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that and see that in her.
Yeah.
And it feels like a thing we could just like shift overnight if we wanted.
Right.
Just step into that. Right. Which I think a lot of things in life, like we don't have to overcomplicate it. Like we can just like learn and evolve overnight. We can just be like, it may take a few reminders, but I don't think it's that hard to like shift something like that if we really believe it.
Well, and sometimes it's even that one person giving you permission to believe that.
Right.
Or just showing you that this is something you can believe.
Yeah.
And then it's you deciding like, yeah, I want to believe that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
People, Promorph is here from Meryl. And you know what's exciting about the Promorph? I am a girl that likes to run on multiple surfaces. I like track, I like roads, I like grass, I like dirt, I like going from road to dirt. I like not knowing where I'm going and finding my way. And these are the shoes that I bring with me because these can go on every surface. Pavement, dirt, gravel, grass, rock. Where else do you run? Stairs? And when I switch surfaces, the Promorphs have my back and they will have yours too. They're comfortable. They have Float Pro technology. They have this sort of grip on the bottom that really does go from surface to surface. The other day, I went out my door, as I often do, up the road to the dirt, eventually ended up raining a little bit, was still fine in the Promorph, and looked good doing it, okay? These things are fast also. When I went on the track, I ran my fastest 800 that I've run in a very long time. So look out for me on a start line in my Promorphs very soon. Promorph by Meryl. And for a limited time, this is actually a really big deal. You can get 25% off the Promorph. That's really, really awesome. Using the code MentorBuffet25. You gotta do it, people. Like, these are awesome. They're probably gonna sell out. Who knows? I'm probably gonna win some races in them. I don't know. We could match. Now you're a writer. How does that feel? Like, obviously I want to hear all about like inception, process, and motivation, your why, anything, but also just that you are a writer now is very exciting to me.
I feel like it's been in my bones that I was going to have a book at some point in my life, but I felt like I never really had a story to tell. So it's weird feeling like you can be something, but just I didn't know the right story to tell. And then it was after I broke the American record of the marathon that I kept hearing like, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I still like, one, I didn't feel like I had my ending yet. And then two, like I still didn't know what story to tell. But a question I kept like getting asked was like, okay, you were like a good runner in college. Like I'd qualify for nationals. I was an All-American, but I was never winning nationals, not let alone running the fastest time ever. And now my round 2, like I have 4 national titles and I've broken records that were probably a surprise for a lot of people that didn't see me coming, including myself. And so like what changed? And for me, it was like a lot of what I learned while I wasn't a runner, I think really helped. And it was just this huge perspective shift. And so that's really what my book is about. It's about the perspective shift and how to put movement in your life, chase goals that, again, like authentic. I know we don't like that word. And I totally
not like it. I just feel weird saying it.
I know exactly.
It
feels phony to say it.
Because it's turned into like advertising jargon or something.
Yeah.
But it has meaning.
But to chase goals, it means something to you. And so I'm hoping by sharing like my weird and wild and, scenic journey through like sport, it can encourage others that think they're too old or too busy or too whatever to pull something off the back burner and to get after it themselves. So I hope it's an invitation or permission for people, kind of like we were talking about Joni. Like I hope this gives people permission to do something for themselves and put some sort of movement or goal in their life that gets them really excited to get up and work towards it in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, it's remarkable. I love this term, by the way, the scenic route. Because it's not even just labyrinthian, like it's not even just it's windy, it's that it's beautiful and that the scenic route people opt for because there's trade-offs that are wonderful.
Right.
Right. And so the scenic route is such a positive way of thinking about it.
Yep.
But I also think that the book, almost in a similar way that Joni, has affected you, I think it instantly can lift people's doubt off themselves just because you exist and you lived it.
After the Olympic trials in 2024, I pulled out of the race with a heat stroke. So I did not make the team. And I was feeling really down and I was sad and I was, just down. Like that's not how I saw this day going, like confused, like why did this happen? And I got like driven in a cart to like the tent where all of my gear was. And I'm packing up my gear. And as I was doing that, 4 different women came up to me at different times and said like, thank you. Like, I'm here because of you. Like seeing your journey gave me permission to come out here and look, I made the Olympic trials. Look at me go. And it like that like really changed my perspective with everything too. Like it like in a way, like I hadn't hit my goal that day, but I felt like I was winning. Like I have helped people like find their own personal journey or just give them the, encourage them to find the courage to start their own journey. And that like, it really like put everything in perspective. That day. So if I can help people with what I've gone through and all this, like I've failed a lot. I failed a ton. I talk about that in the book, but I think each of those, like you learn your lesson, you get like a new tool, you put it in your toolbox. And I think it's accumulation of all those lessons that allow you to go on and succeed.
It's that courage to start. That really is like, we don't talk about it enough. The moment you commit.
Yeah. And that's like we talked, like that is the hardest part. But then it's again like finding the courage like the next day to continue on that route. So it's a series of pulling from a lot of courage.
A series of whens.
Yeah.
Going back to almost burped through this is really bubbly. This episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. And some of my favorite neighborhood spots are running on Square too. Without doxing myself too much, here in the San Fernando Valley, the Wanderlust Creamery in Topanga Mall, Enigma Coffee, and also Ubatuba Acai here in Woodland Hills. I've been here a couple years now, and these businesses are springing up, leveling up, and becoming real spots in town. Check out Enigma Coffee. I love their matcha. Square knows that local businesses can be big businesses, and as we level up, things become more complex. Square started as the little white card reader, but now it's here to power things behind the scenes. Whether that's helping expand following or covering cash flow gaps, go to square.com/go/mentor buffet to learn more. That's SQUARE.com/GO/mentor buffet. Square, meet you there. The thing that was really hard for me, or always is really hard for me in things, is my athlete mindset has gotten me so far in athletics, and it's made it really challenging in certain things, whether it's difficult friendships, collaborations, or with my ex, it was really hard for me to I guess the give up thing was really hard. Yes. Because I think exist almost fully in I see what doesn't exist as real.
Yes.
So much so that I'll be in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And believe in the best case scenario, but live in a terrible reality. And so I think for me, that was the hardest part, was understanding the difference between giving up and making a smart choice in my relationship. That was really hard.
Well, and I think also we're all brought up to never quit.
Yeah, to never quit. It was it's a guiding principle, right?
I feel especially you hear parents talking to their kids, and it's just never quit. It's you're grown up. I brought up, just don't quit. We finish things, And so after the Olympic trials, when I dropped out of the race, my son was really mad at me that night. And so I guess he was 9 at the time. And he was like, Mom, you quit. You stopped the race. You gave up. D'Amatos don't give up. And it was so interesting processing that with him, because I had to explain well, if I hadn't dropped out, I wouldn't have been able to go to Orlando Studios with you tomorrow. And he's like, you quit for an amusement park? And I was like, no. I quit because I was in a really bad place. Physically, I was getting hot and cold. And I knew if I kept running, I was going to end up in a hospital. I'm just seeing stars. My body wasn't responding, confused, getting really cold when it's an 80-degree day. So I was I quit so I didn't hurt myself more. And I think if anything, quitting my first round of running felt like a big failure. But I think it's a really important lesson that we need to learn. I think everyone, that there are times when you need to quit, and it's better for you to quit. And so I think now, coming out of a failed marriage, it's those lessons that gave me strength to know, this, it was time to quit.
Mm-hmm. And even to embrace the word, because I almost just caught myself saying, well, maybe the word is pivot. And it's actually, no, that's just as dangerous as telling an athlete when they're injured that they're weak, when they're actually injured.
Right.
There's so many moments where we actually need to embrace these words that have such a negative connotation.
Yeah.
Because the minute we can embrace that is the minute the new thing starts, is the minute the healing begins, is the minute we evolve.
Right. The other side of quitting is learning and improving and being better for it again. And so, every time I've gotten injured, I'm okay, what do I learn from this? How am I going to level up with this? And I think every time you quit, you learn something about yourself. Maybe this wasn't the right path. Maybe for whatever reason, it wasn't right. But you can learn and you can level up and grow from that. And so I think focusing more on the positives, it stings, it hurts, it sucks, it's hard. But focusing on the positives and what we can draw and how we can move forward, now being a better person.
And it's an accelerator, right?
Yeah.
You're going to, but also, okay, this is blowing my mind. So earlier we were saying something, we were talking a lot about emphasizing the value that we place on our own commitment, and that this is what we ask of ourselves. This is actually when we're happiest. Right. This is the best life. Right. This is honoring ourselves. But with a commitment to a dream, to a person, to a team, to anything, comes with that mystery of what will meet us on that bridge, which is athletically, I think there's potential and there's things you don't know, right? And the element of allowing yourself to quit is also honoring that it's okay if what you are meeting on the other side of that bridge is not the best version of it. If it's the worst, Because if you don't have the option to quit, then why would you commit in the first place? Because there's a chance that what meets you on the other side is not the best version. It can be, but it's almost like the quitting thing is like it allows you to commit in the first place.
Yeah. Well, and you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And until you go down that road. And I think it's important to differentiate, like, I'm just now relating it to like a marathon, but like there are times in a marathon training where it sucks and you want to stop because you're exhausted, you know, and that's the kind of things that you can work through.
Good pain.
Right. But then there's the stuff that's hurting you, like mentally, physical, like that's not okay.
Yep. And
I think learning how to separate it is really, really hard. And I think that's where the struggle is. I think as a culture, like, it should be okay to quit things. I think you need to honor your commitments, you know, and like hopefully not leave others hanging or whatever. But I think there are times you need to respect yourself enough to know that this is no longer okay for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's attuning to pain that you know you can navigate out of and that you're opting into, and the kind that you wouldn't choose for yourself. Right. It's one is a choice. The choice to keep going in a marathon when you're going up a hill is a really empowered choice. Yeah. The choice to push through, you know, a heat exhaustion, an injury, or a bad marriage is that's not a choice you would make twice for yourself. And that's not something that you even know that you could recover from. Right. So I think that difference is a big one. Yeah. And I think like from the other times in my life that I've quit, like I've learned how powerful and necessary that is too. Mm-hmm. So I think now going through this in marriage, like it's really hard to go through, and I'm, you know, have a lot to work on, but mourning then the loss and then picking yourself back up and keeping to move on. But yeah, it's not easy. No, it's not easy. But I don't know. I feel like it's such a weird thing to even like try to talk about, because I don't really like self-identify with it like at all. And so it's a weird thing. It's just a weird, yes. I would not have obviously like chosen it and things like that. Right. So it doesn't feel like a conversation I want to even have, because I don't like feel very, I think you and I similarly don't really like being like, things are hard. Like we're not as, I don't know. We're just similarly energized by what and share in certain ways. Yeah. However, when I was like really like silent through things that were challenging, like that was worse. Well, and it's isolating then, right? Yeah, it's isolating. Like, and really like you and I are in the same wavelength with that, you know, and the personal stuff, trying to keep like really personal. But there would be a lot of strength from feeling how normal all of these feelings are, how normal it is for marriages to end this way, and to not feel like so isolated in the pain that we're facing. And just like even this conversation, knowing that you've gone through something similar is, I don't know, I just feel like supported in a way, or just I feel okay that this is. Well, you know, I wouldn't have given up a minute sooner either. Like maybe there's that element of like, oh, like this person is like cut from the same like tough cloth as me and commitment cloth. Yeah. And it had to have been like there had to be some real like process and compelling reason and challenge that maybe that's where our friendship is like, it can go even beyond, because it's like if we are this certain way as athletes that I think we both are, it must mean that these other things must have felt. Yeah. There's a there's like an attunement. Yeah. So that's helpful. Yeah. It's totally different than me just talking to a random person about it. That's what I meant. I know. I totally agree and feel the same way. Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. And then it doesn't have to be so heavy too. Like I also like, why does it like, I don't really want it to, I don't want things in my life to feel so heavy forever. I kind of want to feel a little more like Alice in Wonderland at all times, hence the set. Yeah. Where I'm kind of like, I want to be like, well, that was wild and hard, but instead of like heavy, dark and hard, even though there's real things and you don't want other people to go through what you went through. Right. Then there's like the thought of, I mean, I'm thinking about you as like a competitive athlete still, right? And just how like excited I am for you with all the life experience you have in everything, to take that evolution with you and see what kind of like muscle that is and what that can do for you. Well, I think also
going through hard things, we realize how resilient we are and how strong we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it's like the hard things in life make the pain of running seem really like minuscule.
So trivial. Like a hill, like you're just like, I see the end.
Right.
I feel the pain.
Right.
I just keep pumping my arms.
Right. Well, and you've like kept going through life through stuff that's really hard. And yeah, you see that hill and you're like, oh, this isn't hard.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that it puts in perspective like real struggle versus temporary struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And temporary struggle, like that you sign up for, you feel really lucky to be experiencing that.
Right.
Like what a privilege to be able to push in yourself and work through things that like if you stop and walk off the course, you don't feel anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it feels very like low risk for going through hard things, but also like working through those hard things also make you feel very powerful too. Like
That's
breaking the American record, I can't even tell you how many times I thought like, this is not going to go well. Like, I don't know if I can make it. Like, I should walk off now. There's no, like, there was still that like negative thought of this is really hard. And one of my pacers there, Cal, he like, I was just like, I don't know. I'm really struggling. And he's like, this is what it feels like.
This is what it should.
This is what it is. You are trying to do something no American woman has ever done before. Like, this is what it feels like.
Mm.
And that like, that line has stuck with me through just hard things. Like everyone in life goes through hard things on totally different scales, but it's like going through it. It's like, okay, you know what? This is what it feels like, but I can work through this and I can get to the other side.
Wow. So you're like experiencing like a sensation and then meeting it not as a threat in that moment.
Yeah. So
yeah, this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I use that line too. Like I have like some women that I work out with that are like, oh man, like I don't know if I can do another one. I'll just be like, this is what it feels like.
Mm.
And it like, yeah, like this is what like trying to like, I don't know, level up. This is what it feels like. It's hard, you know, and it gets really hard. Like you're on the boss level before you really level up, and the boss levels are really hard. Mm-hmm. So going through all that hard stuff, just like think like this is what it feels like. And then I'm gonna level up.
I really like that phrase. I haven't heard someone say something in a long time that I'm like, I need to, like, I can't wait to try it. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to try that one.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like.
Well, and then it like, yeah, you're not the victim of the pain.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, this is.
It feels like something you're trying to feel instead of something you're trying to avoid.
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah, it's rare territory that you're opting into.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah, this is what it feels like. Yeah.
I love that. I'm like so like, to use a term from my producer, Matt, I'm so geeking about my new like real friendship with you. I'm like so excited about this. And I care about you without knowing you super well. And I respect you and admire you and hope I can be like really supportive to you and also learn from you. Like if I'm going to like try and get in shape, I was like, I'm going to have to call you.
Well, it's, I think meeting other people that are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, there's like a really deep connection I felt like immediately. Yeah. But I feel like when I was on my halftime show rooting for you while you were crushing it, and now seeing like how you've been able to stay like in this community and inspire others and bring joy and fun, like you do so much good for the running world. I hope you know that. And just you being yourself, like the running world needs that. You know, and like this weekend, like I'm going to go run a race and wear glitter all over just like you.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just like you've inspired people to find their own version of fun because you've really been your own version. And I think that is really awesome. So happy that this like friendship is taking on another level.
Yeah, it's amazing. And thank you for sharing with me about coaches and about those really specific moments that you let mean something to you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that people runners are runners and non-runners alike are looking for, those like little moments that can just completely switch which train track they're on. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that people today can take the opportunity. You've introduced us to a few turning points of yours that were very specific, that feel really specific to your experience, but like anyone could take that into their life. And so I hope people actually do. And trust that you've really lived it. Mm-hmm. You've lived the journey. And I think that they can make a choice to change their own life. So I hope they do. If you're enjoying Mentor Buffet, follow Voicing Change for more inspirational and truly life-affirming content from shows like Soul Boom, The Proof, Feel Better, Live More, and the Rich Roll podcast. Just go to voicingchange.media. That's voicingchange.media for a beautiful selection of productive and positive shows.